Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins Target exclusive Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun 3-pack. This 3-pack consists of the titular character Sunman, this time sporting a flat top head design, which was actually the alternate head of the original 1980 Sunman toy. We also get his arch nemesis Pighead, who was also available in wave, was it 9 or 10 of the main Origins assortment, though now he's being given a special metallic finish, very much in the same vein as the PowerCon version of Sunman. And then we're also getting our first release of the character Space Sumo, who is apparently getting a Mattel Creations release later at some point. I'm not sure how that one's going to differ from this one, but if you do want to have the character sooner, or you don't really feel like dealing with Mattel Creations, this is a really neat way to pick them up. That being said, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at this 3-pack's packaging, then we'll open it up. We'll get a good look at everything inside, including the figures themselves, and we'll check out their sculpting, their posability, their accessories. Naturally, I'll be doing some group shots comparisons today, and then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So our Sunman characters come in this special 3-pack packaging. It's a very wide, flat packaging with a large window where you can see all 3 of your figures plus their accessories. Up here you get this really just fantastic artwork of Sunman and Space Sumo fighting Pighead on some sort of alien landscape. It might be Eternia, it might be where Sunman's from, I'm not sure. You get your holographic 40th anniversary sticker right there in the corner with the names of all our characters with their titles. So Pighead is the wicked enemy of Sunman, Sunman is the greatest hero of them all, and Space Sumo is a telekinetic ninja. We go ahead and look on the sides of the packaging. You can just see the artwork wrapping itself around. You get one of those winged lizard creatures there with the MOTU logo and the name of this 3-pack. Same thing here with a different, more dinosaur-like creature. And then on the back, we get even more artwork. It's showing yet another battle between Sunman and Space Sumo against Pighead here. And it may actually... No, it's not depicting the same scene because the depictions are different. So, just different battle shot. Looking very cool. You can see Space Sumo just leaping into action. You can see Pighead's flail just swinging around. You have these really cool ruins in the background. You get some sort of pyramid-like structure, and there's somebody standing in there holding some kind of staff and guarding it. So I do wonder what that's about. You get some flavor text up here in the corner, and that says, Sunman and Space Sumo protect the first sun against the showdown-dwelling wicked one, Pighead. The showdown-dwelling... Showdown dwell? I'm not sure what that means. How does one dwell in a showdown? Whatever. Alright, so really cool artwork. Then we get a little bit of background info here for this 3-pack. And it says, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun action figures, Masters of the Universe Origins gives you the power to pose Trefixa Greatest Warriors as retro-style figures or in new action-packed battle positions. Did they mean Trefixas with an apostrophe S? Is that a typo? A lot of oddities with the text here. I think maybe this packaging was kind of rushed out a little bit. All right, down here we get our action feature callouts. So for Sunman, it says pressing Phoenix Wings, twisting in powerful battle positions. In fact, that just says that for all 3 of them. Kind of a waste of a panel. For Space Sumo, it says remove Ninja Mask of Telekinesis. And I know there's a big question everybody had when Space Sumo was revealed, is whether or not his mask was actually going to be detachable or part of the head sculpt. Luckily, like the original toy, it is detachable, so that's really cool. You can actually see his face underneath. And then for Pighead here, it says fit Mace of Trickery into hand. I didn't know his mace had a name, so now we know it's the Mace of Trickery, which I guess for a scheming character like Pighead, it makes sense. So yeah, that is the packaging. As always, very, very cool stuff. So now that we've looked at it, let's go ahead and open it up and check everything inside. All right, we have a really interesting little addition here that came inside the packaging. Instead of mini comics, we get these like collectible character cards. They're really cool. They're like placard size. They look like they might be part of the same illustration, or at least the same background, though there seems to be like little bits of it missing. You see that? Kind of lines up, but there's like a gap. So you get one for each character. It's got really cool art. So first we get Pighead. And this has his name and title, and then some really nice flavor text. It says, banished to the shadows by the ruler of the sun, the once handsome but cruel Prince is it Zegor or Zegor? I'm not sure. Obsesses over stealing the rays of the first sun. For with the harnessed energy of the first sun, he can rule a galaxy consumed by darkness. So, nice little bit of backstory there. Then, of course, we got Sunman himself. This says that Sunman's magical melanin skin gives him unequaled, unlimited, and special super strength. He cannot be cut, burned, bruised, broken, or pierced in his fight for fairness and equality throughout the universe. Sun power. And then last we get Space Sumo. So his little bio says, Destiny called an unsuspecting Akira Tanaka, passing down the legacy and powers of the telekinetic hero Space Sumo. With the combined might, knowledge, and willpower of the greatest fighters in history, he protects Trefixa. So, I don't know, is Trefixa, is that like the homeworld of all the good characters, or is it just Space Sumos, or I'm not sure. What's interesting is that, so the guy's name is Akira Tanaka, so it's like obviously a very Earth-based name, right? It doesn't really follow the conventions of your Eternia or Sunman-based heroes. You know, they tend to just have like one name. So that's really interesting. So I don't know if Space Sumo is actually like a guy from Earth that got brought into the fight, or if he's on another world and just happens to sound a very Earth-based and like East Asian-based name. I don't know. Kind of cool though. I think these are really neat. Actually, I kind of like these more than the mini comics, to be honest. I wouldn't mind getting, because I mean, they're nice and thick, like they're really high quality print. I wouldn't mind getting these in the Origins packaging instead of like mini comics, but that's just me. All right, now we get our figures out of their packaging. And what's really interesting, the first thing I noticed, we can see Space Sumo's head now, and it turns out that Sunman and Space Sumo have the exact same head sculpt. They really do. And it's so funny because even though it's the same sculpt and like the same paint apps and everything, I think the only actual difference is the color of paint used for the lips. Sunman's obviously being a bit darker. I mean, I think everything else is exactly the same, but it works for them both. Like, it doesn't look out of place. Like, Sunman is obviously based on somebody from Africa. And then Space Sumo is supposed to be, I believe, Japanese, right? Because Sumos are Japanese, and his name, Akira Tanaka, is a very Japanese-sounding name. And somehow it works, and they both look like the nationalities they're supposed to represent, so I don't know. It's like the perfect ethnically ambiguous face, and it can just kind of work for anybody, so that's really interesting. I wasn't expecting Space Sumo to have the exact same head sculpt as Sunman here, but here we are. So you can see that there are quite a few accessories laid out at these guys' feet. Pighead gets his mace and a shield. Sunman gets a spear and a shield, along with his phoenix wings. And then Space Sumo gets what looks like a katana, and then his mask, his ninja mask. Which again, I don't know why they call him Space Sumo when he's a ninja. Go figure. Alright, so first let's take a good look at Pighead. Just kind of going left to right, we'll keep that going. So he's got this very unique head sculpt. Very cool. One thing I like is the asymmetry of it, where you can see he's got two tusks on one side and then another tusk on the other, and they're all like different shapes and bent to different angles, so very natural looking, right? Because like a real life pig or boar, they're not gonna have like perfectly symmetrical tusks, so that's pretty neat. Got kind of crazy beady eyes. I love the colors on him. There's something about them, I'm not even sure what it is, but they're so different. Very bright, but they kind of work together. I really get like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibe from this guy. And then the shiny paint they're using on him also looks very nice. Better than what will probably be the flat colors that released in the regular like assortment. It just gives a nice metallic quality to everything. He does seem to have a lot of unique parts when it comes to like the bracers and the pelvic region. That is all, as far as I know, unique to Pighead. Maybe these will get reused for like Snake Man or something. The boots, I think, are just regular He-Man boots. That's okay. And he's got this cool little chest harness thing with spikes on it. They're decently sharp spikes, too. I'm kind of surprised those passed, like, child safety test. Not that I'm complaining. So he's really neat. You know, all his posability is what you'd expect. The tolerances on him are great. In fact, the tolerances on all these guys are pretty good. All right, so we can give him his mace in this hand. He does only have one weapon-holding hand, which is normally fine because the shields typically fit well into the open hands, like the original He-Man has. However, you'll notice that his shield is the same size and shape as Sunman's, and if you saw my review on the PowerCon Sunman, you'll know that it doesn't line up very well, and you kind of have to bend their wrist back like that. in a kind of an unnatural pose to get these things to clip on right. So just slide it over his fingers. You just kind of pull it back as much as you reasonably can and just kind of clip it on behind the bracer there. And it'll go, but you can see it looks kind of weird. He's just doing this and keeping the shield on his hand. And, you know, this Sunman, being just a new head, you know, retool the other one, he's going to have the same issue. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why they designed him like that. It's not really ideal because it is a very unnatural pose to hold a shield in, but okay. Right now we get a Sunman, who, you know, from the neck down is just the other Sunman release. This one doesn't have the metallic colors of the PowerCon release, but his colors should be more or less exactly the same as the regular retail release of the first head Sunman. So he's got his special armor. He has the new bracers, pelvic area, and boots that the first Sunman started. And I'm guessing all the heroic characters from the Sunman line are going to have them because Space Sumo shares all that tooling too. So very cool looking. Go ahead and clip his Phoenix wings on. They're pretty tight fit, like kind of worryingly so. You have to put a lot of force on these things. It's almost better to just pop the head off. In fact, I think I'm going to. Just because I really don't want to damage this guy. Alright. Get the head on there. The wings are on. You have him hold his spear or lance in his hand here. And then you just put the shield on the same way. Just wrap the fingers around this handle and bend the wrist back till it clips on his forearm. There you go. One downside of them holding it in that weird angle is it kind of shortens the reach of the shield, moves it back up on their arm a little more, and it makes it look a little stubby just compared to like the regular He-Man base shields. So I don't know, but he does look very cool and very heroic. And I will say I really prefer this head sculpt over the first one. It's much more grown-up looking. The regular Sunman head sculpt, which is based on, you know, the first release of the toy, was actually based on the face of the son of the creator of the Sunman franchise. And, you know, she did that as a way to let him envision himself as a superhero. And it's really cool. Like, I think it's a cool thing she did that. But as somebody who wants to collect, you know, a character that's supposed to look like an adult, I always found the childlike face on the adult body to be kind of off-putting. I really prefer this one where he looks more like an adult or maybe even a teenager. But even, like, I could see a teenager, you know, looking like this guy. So I do prefer the flat top head over the regular one. And I was kind of put off when they released that deluxe Sunman for PowerCon, and the alternate head he came with wasn't the flat top head. And I knew, and sure enough, they proved me right, that that's because they were saving it so they can sell you a Sunman again. And they sure did. Rather than letting me just be okay with one copy of the character and just having both heads, they decided to make me buy him again. So, what can I say? Mattel got me. Alright, so now over here we got our Space Sumo, and like I said, structurally he's the same as Sunman, same bracers, woolies, boots, all that. Heck, even the same head. I mean, he really is, like, as far as his main body parts, he's just a recolor of Sunman here. And then, of course, he gets his own unique chest harness here, which is really cool. It's got this diamond pattern all over it. And it even has a sheath for his sword. So how cool is that? You go ahead and slide it in there. Looks really neat. I like that. Holds it well. Or, of course, he can wield it. Now, he actually gets 2 weapon-wielding hands, which means he can wield his sword in either hand. So he looks very cool just as is. Or he can go ahead and put his mask on, making him more of a ninja character. I mean, weirdest ninja I've ever seen, right? Where, like, it's just his face that's covered, and then he's pretty much naked everywhere else. But, you know, whatever. It's a toy line, and it was made by somebody who, you know, didn't have the means for tooling and stuff that Mattel did. So there is going to be a reasonable expectation of things just, I don't know, being kind of low budget feeling. And it's no shade on the creator. It's just the reality of the situation, right? You're not a giant mega toy corporation, so you got to make do with what you got. All right, here we get a comparison shot with the PowerCon Deluxe version of Sunman. Pretty much looks like the regular retail version, but he gets a much more metallic quality to some of his armor, namely the chest plate, boots, and bracers. So you can see molding-wise, these two are the same, and a lot of their plastic colors outside of the special edition stuff is also the same. I do believe his lance or spear is a little bit darker than his. Like, it's not a big difference, but it does appear to be like a shade darker for some reason. Maybe just to better match the darker metallic reds used on the armor there. And then you can see the difference in the head sculpt. This is the one I was talking about, where it's based on the woman's son's face and everything, which why it has that kind of innocent juvenile look to it. And again, it's a cool novelty, and it's a very awesome thing she did for her little boy. But I still think this is just the cooler looking head. Like, if I'm thinking, you know, a superhero, like an actual adult person, or at least close to an adult person, I'm picturing something like this. This looks like a little kid's head on a man's body and just ends up being kind of weird. I mean, you even have characters like Shazam, which are kids that like turn into superheroes, but even then they don't look like a kid. They turn into, you know, an adult, or they, you know, on the outside anyway. All right, so yeah, I wanted to compare him to this Sunman, and also wanted to show him off next to Pighead here, so you can see how they both end up having that nice metallic quality to their armor. Now, this Sunman's is far more pronounced. It's very, very glossy looking, whereas Pighead's, you know, shiny quality is more of a, I don't know, like a glittery kind of effect, which is okay. I do wonder how it would look if it was done with this kind of finish, but it's still really nice looking, especially the pinks. The pinks are very metallic looking. So yeah, there's a really good reason to pick up this 3-pack if you already have the Powercon Sunman, because one, if you didn't like the head sculpt, you could swap the heads around. In fact, I'll show that in a moment. So you can get like the cooler head on the shinier, you know, armor body and everything. And then also, this Pighead will now have this premium finish that will match his Nemesis Sunman. So I think if you did manage to snag one of these Powercon Sunmans, I think you'll get a lot more value out of this 3-pack. So let me quickly show you guys what these two look like with the heads swapped. Pop his head off here. Stay right there, buddy. Got something on. Pop his head off. So putting the first like version head on this guy will basically just turn him into the Wave 8 Sunman toy, which is just standard colors with the regular head or the old head. So yeah, you can recreate the Wave 8 Sunman if you want to. If I can get him to stand up, there you go. And then you can put the cool flat top Sunman head on the body with shiny armor. Look at that. I like that. This is, to me, right here, this is like your quintessential Sunman toy. Cool head, really cool looking armor without like the super flat colors. And of course, we know that the Deluxe Sunman came with this really cool energy effect for his lance. So you can always attach that for maximum coolness. Let's go ahead and kind of slide it on there. Now, it will make his lance pretty heavy, so you do have to balance things out a little bit. But it can be done. Here we go. So now he looks really cool. And I dig this. This has me excited for the upcoming Masterverse Sunman. So you'll basically get this character, but in more realistic and heroic proportions. So looking forward to that. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing comparison shots between that toy and these two right here. All right, here's one more comparison shot for Space Sumo, and this time we're bringing out the Evil Warrior Jitsu. And the reason I'm comparing these two is because you can see Space Sumo actually reuses Jitsu Sword, just in a more silver color now. I had actually originally thought he was reusing Ninjor's Sword, right, because that would kind of make sense, they're both ninja characters. But no, he takes the more broad-bladed sword that comes with Jitsu. And what's funny is that Jitsu has always been billed as Fisto's rival, right? They even have very similar getups and everything. But honestly, now that Sunman and his supporting cast, including Space Sumo, are part of like official MOTU canon, I think these two make really good foils for each other because they have very similar weapons and they're both martial artists of some kind. Now, you could also argue that Ninjor might be a better foil for Space Sumo because they are actually both called ninjas. But I personally prefer pairing these two because of the matching weapons, right? It gives them more of a contrast to each other. Though really, that's about the only thing they have in common, aside from maybe like the upper legs and upper arm pieces. They are quite different as far as their outfits, their armor, everything. The head sculpts are super different. So if you really want to have some fun, you can take, these two guys plus Ninjor and just have Space Sumo like going 2v1 on these guys and really spruce up your display with a really flashy martial arts battle. And this completes our look at the all-new Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun 3-pack. I personally feel this is a really neat little set. It's a really good way to quickly pick up a bunch of Sunman characters, especially if you've been sleeping on the previously released Sunman and Pighead. And then even if you have those two, there's a pretty good reason to pick these up as well. You get a really nice premium paint job for this Pighead, and then you get the Sunman with what is, in my opinion, the cooler head sculpt. And then also, this is your first chance to own Space Sumo. As I mentioned, he will be released later on Mattel Creations, and I don't know how that one's going to differ from this one. It might be the same figure, though I'm sure they'll do something to change it to entice people to want to buy that version too. If I had to guess what's going to happen, now we're thinking, you know, from a marketing perspective and how I can get people to spend more money, they'll probably release the Mattel Creations one, the exclusive, as like a shiny version, similar to this guy. Because that way, the way, you know, they're thinking is you're buying like a regular Space Sumo here because he just comes with these special versions of Sunman and Pighead, right? So he's just part of the set. You pick him up. You may not even bought the set for him. You might have bought it for, you know, the special edition version of these guys. So he's just kind of there. And then they're going to be like, oh, did you want a better version? Well, give us another, you know, however much, $20 or so, and get the shiny version. And you're like, oh man, I wish I had that one, but you know, this is the one that came with the 3-pack. So if I had to guess, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to make the Mattel Creations one an upgrade to this guy somehow, some way, so that you'll buy them both. That would be my guess. Whether or not I pick this guy up, I don't know. It really depends on how much they actually change the toy between this release and the Mattel exclusive one. But aside from all that, I think overall there's more pros than cons to this set. Each one of these guys offers something unique and different, and even though we don't know what the next Space Sumo look like, you know, I think it's safe to assume there will be something different about it. So very cool set. It shouldn't be too hard to find. I've been seeing them already starting to warm shelves at Target. For some reason, the Origin stuff and the Messware stuff like does not sell well at Target, and they always end up going on clearance. So if you don't want to pay full price for this set and you want to wait, I do personally think it's a fairly safe bet that you will be able to get these on clearance. Of course, it's always a risk, so do that at your own risk. But I think this is a good set, especially so if you can find it for a sale price. Of course, that is just my take on this 3-pack, so now I want to know what you all think of this. Is this something that you're interested in? Do you want to pick this up because you just really like what's in it? Or maybe do you like just part of it and you're kind of begrudgingly getting the 3-pack because that's the only way to get a certain character or a certain version of a character? Or do you not like this? You either have no interest in the characters, or you already bought the standard Sunman and Pighead and you don't need another one, and you rather wait on the Space Sumo. Any and all feedback is always welcome in that comment section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. And thank you for joining me for this look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun 3-pack. And with all that said, I will see you next time.